Assalamualaikum class. Today we are going to do our unit 8, which is atoms, and the lecture is 11th of subject science grade 7. First of all, the definition of atoms. An atom is the smallest part of an element which can exist. So what are atoms? Smallest building blocks of matter. Matter is anything that has mass and takes up the space. Most mass in an atom is contained in the middle, which is the nucleus. So atoms are basically composed of three different parts: proton, neutron and electron. If you look at the diagram, we have electron, proton and neutron. The neutron is the green one, proton positive is the red one, and electron is the blue one, which is negative. Now, where are these particles found in the atom? Different theories and atomic models have been tested by many scientists over hundreds of years, but we now think that protons are found in the nucleus while the neutrons are found in the nucleus. Means both are found in the nucleus. Electrons are probably found moving around in an area surrounding the nucleus. So basically protons and neutrons, they are found in the nucleus, but what about the electrons? They are found probably moving around in an area that is surrounded by the nucleus, which we call the electron cloud. If you look at the diagram, you see the electrons over here and the protons, neutrons and the nucleus. To talk about the discovery of atoms, there are many scientists. Number one is the Democritus, a Greek philosopher. In 1460 to 361 BC, he was the first to put forward the idea of atoms. He grouped up different materials until he had a fine powder which could not be broken down into any smaller. So atom is basically the ancient Greek word which called invisible. In 1808, an English chemist named John Dalton suggested from the experiment he had carried out that each chemical element is made up of different atoms, and that elements are different because they are made of different atoms. And in 1919, there was a New Zealand born physician whose name Ernest Rutherford. He discovered that atoms have the very tiny density which is called the nucleus. This is the atom concept map. So particles that make up atoms. What particles that are essential to make the atoms are these three: proton, neutron and electron. So protons are positive, neutrons are the neutral ones, and electrons are the negative ones. In atoms are composed of three different parts: the proton, neutrons and electrons. Most mass in an atom is contained in the middle, which is the nucleus. If you look at the diagram of inside the atom, these are the electrons. The neutrons is the blue one right here. The protons are the black one right over here, and protons and neutrons both carry the nucleus. As we've mentioned before also, that protons and neutrons both have nucleus, while the electron has nucleus which is probably surrounded by the area around the nucleus. In order for you to understand it even more, this is the diagram of an atom. Okay, if we move forward, this is the nucleus. So this is the atom, and this big hole inside this cloud of the atom is called the nucleus, this orange one. And then if we move forward, inside the nucleus, which is this orange part, inside the nucleus we have protons and neutrons, because we said earlier also in our lecture that protons and neutrons carry nucleus. So protons are the positive ones and neutrons are the neutral ones. This is the electronic cloud inside the atom. If you see in the book, they have given very nice examples. Everything around you is made up of tiny particles called atoms. This book, the trees outside, the room you are in, the sun, the stars, the moon, all are made up of atoms. So basically everything is made up of atoms. Even your body is made up of atoms, mainly atoms of the elements. There are three basic elements that are present in the atoms, that is carbon, oxygen and hydrogen and nitrogen. You do not look like any of these elements. Obviously, we do not look like any of these elements. Which elements? Oxygen, carbon, hydrogen and nitrogen. Why is it so? Because atoms can form many different materials depending on the way they are joined together. Although these models, if you look at the diagram, although these models are both made from the elements carbon, hydrogen and oxygen, the elements are put together in two different ways. So basically, atoms basically are made up of carbon, hydrogen and oxygen, but because of these elements carbon, oxygen and nitrogen, they look differently. And if you look in the book inside an atom, they have given a very nice example. If an atom was enlarged until it was the size of a football pitch, the nucleus, they are actually telling you how much the size of the nucleus would be the size of a pinhead on the center spot. Most of the atom is in fact empty space. Proton and neutrons are about the same mass, but electrons are much lighter. So basically, proton and neutrons, they both have nucleus and they are of the same mass, but electrons are much lighter. They are lighter. Protons and electrons, they both carry a tiny electrical charge, with the proton having a positive charge, as we have also mentioned in the lecture also. If you see in the lecture, the proton has a positive charge, while the electron has an equal but negative charge. If you see in the lecture again, electron will have a negative charge and neutron are neutrals, and they carry no charge at all. So that's why we make the sign as 0. An atom that has equal number of protons and electrons is electrically neutral. Now I will be discussing both atoms and elements and the electrons and shells collectively. In the book, a material that is made up of only one type of atom, that is called an element. We have discussed earlier also how many elements that are present in the atoms that actually work. There are carbon, oxygen, hydrogen and nitrogen. So far there are 117 elements have been discovered. Some of these are very rare, some are man-made, that are made by the human beings, while other elements such as copper, sodium and chlorine, they are common. Atoms may differ, they may be different from one another because they are made up of different number of protons, neutrons and electrons. The smallest atom of all is that the gas hydrogen. Hydrogen is the smallest atom. This has only one proton and one electron. The largest naturally occurring atom that we know about is uranium. So if we ask that which is the smallest atom of all, that is the gas called hydrogen. And if we talk about the largest one, it's the uranium. This has 92 protons and 92 electrons. You must know that hydrogen, which is the smallest atom, hydrogen, it has only one proton and one electron, while the uranium, which is the largest one, has 92 protons and 92 electrons. It is the number of protons that make the difference between the atoms. So basically, the number of proton is the thing that makes the difference between the atoms. This number is called the atomic number. And each element has a different atomic number. So every element will have a different atomic number, because there are always the same number of protons and electrons in an atom. So there will be same number of protons and electrons in the atom. If you see in the hydrogen, if there is one proton, there is one electron. If there is 92 proton, there is 92 electron. So proton electrons in an atom, if we know the atomic number, as we have already said that the atomic number will be different for each element. We also know how many electrons an atom has, and if we know the electrons, we definitely will know the protons. It is the way the electrons are arranged around the nucleus which determines the properties of an atom or an element of which it is a part. Here are some basic facts. They have written all the essential definitions. Must go through all the basic facts and learn all the definitions, like the atoms, or what's the chemical symbol or the formula, or the atom consists of how many particles, what is the center of the atom called, all of that. Just a plus sign inside a hole, and there is one small whole. What is this? An atom of hydrogen has 1 proton and 1 electron only. So this is the diagram of a hydrogen that is representing 1 proton and 1 electron. At the diagram of an atom, there is just one hole or a circle with a plus sign. This means this ion of hydrogen has 1 proton only. So it also only has 1 proton, that is a positive charge, and electron has been lost. So hydrogen is H+. Moving on to electrons and shells. Drawing of atoms, like one of the previous page that I've just told you, usually show electrons orbiting the nucleus. So basically in this diagram you see the electron orbiting the nucleus. You know, this is inside the this is orbiting the nucleus, but this is not really a true picture of how electrons orbit the nucleus. Electrons are not solid balls but bundles of energy that move almost as far as light. We have no idea where they are at any one instant. However, we do know that the electrons which around the nucleus of the atoms in different layers called the shells. So basically we don't know, because electrons, they are not the solid balls. So basically we don't know, but we do know that the electrons, they are revolving around the nucleus of the atom in different layers, and these different layers are called the shells. The shells are arranged around the nucleus. So shells are basically arranged around the nucleus. We show these energy levels or shells as circles around the nucleus. So we basically show the energy level or shells around the nucleus. The nearer the circle is to the nucleus, the nearer the circle is to the nucleus, the lower the energy level. So if the circle is near or close to the nucleus, the energy level will be low. The lowest energy shell, the one nearest the nucleus. So if it's nearer, means closer to the nucleus, it has obviously low energy level, and low energy shell, the one nearest the nucleus, is called the K shell. So if one asks what is K shell, so you must know that the nucleus, you must know that the circle which is nearest the nucleus and which is of the low energy, this is called the K shells. If you see in the diagram, this is the K shell, because if you see, this is the nucleus and this is the circle which is closer to the nucleus. It can hold either 1 or 2 electrons. So basically these are electrons, so it may carry 1 or 2 electrons. Similarly, if you see the second shell with the second energy level, it is called the L shell. The first shell will call the K shell, the second shell will call the L shell. You must know these words. And the third energy level, which is the M shell, has hold a maximum of 8 electrons. So basically the first one, which is the K shell, which is closer to the nucleus, can have 1 or 2 electrons, and the L shell can have 8 electrons. It can hold up to means it can hold up to 8 electrons, and M shell, which is the third energy level, can hold a maximum of 8 electrons. Basically the L shell and the M shell both carry 8 electrons. On to the topic filling electron levels. Now, how we know how to fill the electron levels? In an atom, the electrons fill the energy level starting from the lowest energy level, as we have discussed above. Also, the lowest energy shell is the K shell, when the full with 2 electrons, which is full when this is full with 2 electrons. Obviously we said that the nucleus which is closer, the circle which is closer to the nucleus is the K shell, and it can hold up to 1 or 2 electrons. So basically when it is full with 2 electrons, the next electron goes into the L shell, because this shell has the capacity of adding just 2 electrons. We cannot add more than 2 electrons in this one circle of K shell. So if we have more electrons, more than 2, this will goes into the L shell. When the L shell is full with 8 electrons, as we have discussed over here, that the L shell can hold up to 8 electrons. So if it's full with the 8 electrons, then the electron begins to fill the M energy level. Similarly, if this second L shell, which is the second shell, if this energy level falls to 8, because it has the capacity to hold up to 8 electrons, the electrons will move to the M energy level. We have already seen that as they are always the same number of protons and electrons in an atom, as we have discussed before also over here, that there are always the same number of protons and electrons in an atom. So that's why they are saying, we have already seen that there are always the same number of protons and electrons in an atom. The atomic number also tells us how many electrons an atom has. So basically, now the atomic number will tell us how many electrons an atom has. Carbon, if for example, has an atomic number of 6. It has 6 protons and 6 neutrons in its nucleus, because it has an atomic number 6. So it has 6 protons and 6 neutrons in its nucleus, and 6 electrons orbiting the nucleus. So basically, electrons, protons and neutrons will have the same atomic number, and second of these electrons will occupy the K shell, means 2. You see, this is the nucleus. Okay, so this is our first circle, which is nearest to the nucleus, and it has only 2 electrons in it, and that's why it's called the K shell. And after that, we have the second circle after the K shell, which can hold up to 8 5, 6, 7 and 8 electrons. So that's why it's called the L shell. Okay, so this is called the L shell. And if this is also filled with almost about 8 electrons, because it has the capacity to add only 8, we will move on to the M shell. That also can hold up to 8 electrons. So 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 and 8. Over here we're discussing this carbon. Carbon, they have saying, for example, has a 6 atomic number. So carbon has an atomic number, for example 6. So it will have, obviously it will have proton, neutron and electron in it. So how many proton, electron and neutron it will have? It will have 6 protons, 6 neutrons and 6 electrons that are orbiting the nucleus. Now, how we are going to fill electron level? Because they are of an atomic number 6, which is proton, neutron, electron, 6, 6, 6. So 2 will go to the L shell, because K shell can hold up to 2 electrons. So 2 will go to the K shell, while the rest of the 4 electrons will go to the second orbit. Why 4? Because 2 minus 6 is 4. See over here in the diagram, they have made the nucleus, and in the first K shell, which is closer to the nucleus, has 2 electrons, and the L shell has 4 electrons, and they all in total of 6 electrons that are present in carbon atomic number. The arrangement of electrons around the nucleus of a carbon atom. Okay, so there is another example, a slightly more complicated example is that of a sodium atom. So first we have the example of a carbon, and now we are going to have an example of a sodium, which is slightly more complicated. So it has an atomic number mass of 23. So because it has an atomic mass of 23, this each sodium atom consists of, it has 11 protons, 12 neutrons and 11 electrons. Why 11 protons and 11 electrons and 12 neutrons? Because always protons and electrons will have the same number of protons and electrons the atom will always have the same number of protons and electrons. So it's now it has 12 neutrons. The sodium atoms, there are 2 electrons in the K energy shells, because we know the K energy shell is closer to the nucleus, so only 2 electrons it can hold. So 8 electrons will go in the L shell, while the remaining 1 electron is in the outer M shell. If you see in the example also, the K shell will have 2, the L will have 8, because it has the capacity to hold almost 8. If you see over here also, it can hold up to 8 electrons, and then M will only carry 1. Okay, so there must be a question now that, ma'am, there are 11 protons and 12 neutrons and 11. So basically sodium has an atomic mass of 23. But why we are only looking or making filling the electrons with only 11? Because we will always do fill the electron levels according to the proton and electron level. If you see in the example of a carbon, we have 6 electrons and like we have 6 protons and 6 neutrons, and that's why we have filled it accordingly, like 6. So over here we have, because 11 protons, so that's why we are filling it accordingly. Like K shell will have a 2, L shell will have 8, and the remaining 1 will go to the M shell. The number and arrangement of electrons in an atom is important because it controls the chemical properties of the atom. So basically the number and the arrangement of the electrons in an atom, it is important because it is going to control the chemical properties of the atom. Each element, like such as sodium, with only 1 electron is the highest energy shell, that is M, of their atoms are very reactive. So now what's happening over here is that elements such as sodium, if you see in the sodium with only 1 electron in the highest energy shell. So basically electron with the highest energy shell, obviously M will have only 1 electron in it. So it is in the atoms, these are very reactive, and this is the highest energy shell, that is M. The table below shows how electrons are arranged in 20 elements. So this is the diagram of a table. Just look at your book at page number 91. These are the electrons arrangement in the 20 elements. These are the 20 elements: hydrogen, helium, lithium, beryllium, boron, carbon, nitrogen, oxygen, fluorine, neon, sodium, magnesium, aluminium, silicon, phosphorus, sulfur, chlorine, argon, potassium, and calcium. So basically these are the 20 elements, and they are showing you the arrangement of electrons. These are their symbols, how they are chemically written, and these are their atomic numbers, as we have discussed earlier also, that hydrogen has 1 atomic number, it has 2, 3, 4, and so on. The number of electrons in them: hydrogen has 1, lithium has 2 or 3. The first shell, always the first. Okay, so this is the first shell, the second shell, third shell, and fourth shell. So because hydrogen, like for example, has only 1 atomic number, so only 1. Just ignore this. This is just the messy book that I have of some student. This is the 1. The first shell, which is the K shell, will have only 1 electron. The lithium, because it has 2 atomic numbers, so it has 2. Every you see in the 20 elements, all these have, in the first shell, which is the K shell, has only 2 electrons in them, and afterwards how many electrons they have will go further to the second shell and the third shell and fourth shell and so on, because there are so many shells. But we over here in our book are discussing only main, that are K shells, L shell, and M shell. Always remember that the K shell is the first shell, which can only hold up to 2 electrons. L shell, which can hold only about 8, and M shell, which can hold approx of 8 electrons in them. So accordingly you know how many electrons are carrying in the first shell, the second shell, and the third shell. If you see, like for example in the third shell, because all we have are just mentioned over here, if you see like in the sodium we have, because the atomic number is 11, so 2 will go in the first shell, which is the K shell, 8 will go to the second shell, which is the L shell, and 1 will go to the M shell, which is the third shell, and so on.